I've just searched midlife on YouTube, and honestly, what I found has made me very depressed. And this is what I found. Almost every video after video after video, is talking about midlife crisis, is talking about feeling lost, falling apart. Really? Is this really how we see midlife? I don't understand this narrative because honestly, personally, I am 55 and I have never felt more powerful, empowered than I do right now. Am I alone? And what if we've got this all completely wrong? Let's get into it. Hi there, my name's Andy, I'm from the UK, and I am, of course, a midlifer, here to talk about all things midlife. And this one really gets my goat, actually, and I am going to make an argument now that not only is this time of life not a crisis, it's when we become, it's when we wake up, and actually it's when we really discover what superpowers we have as midlifers. Now, before we go any further, I just want to be very clear that I am not dismissing the challenges that anybody has in midlife, and there are many of them. Let's not talk about menopause and the huge changes that brings to men and women. Let's not talk about being the sandwich generation, where we are still often supporting our now grown-up children, but also many of us have elderly relatives, parents that need our constant support. We also have empty nest syndrome, the loss of our children moving away and forming their own lives. So there are a lot of challenges, and believe you me, I have felt a lot of those and continue to do so. However, what I'm talking about here is my personal feeling of, I suppose, mentally never feeling so confident in my own purpose, in my own being, in my own thoughts, my beliefs, my values. And it's incredibly empowering. And of course, it's not just by chance that we feel that way. And I would liken it to a building that has huge, strong, robust foundations. That building is going to be very strong and very sturdy. And when you think about midlifers, when you get to your 50s and beyond, you have lived a life. There's hopefully still a lot of life left to be lived. But by the time I hit 50, I'd worked for full-time for 30 years. I'd brought up 2 children who are still alive and managed to survive me being their mother. I've been married for over 30 years and successfully so. I've held down a really successful career, which I've recently left, but that's in other videos that I've done. Go look at those out. And all of this experience, the knowledge, the skills, have formed the foundation upon now which I live. And really, it's that sturdiness and, strength that I have developed that makes me feel now going forward, actually, I know a thing or two. I know about relationships. I know about how to succeed in the workplace. I know how to rear children. I know how to manage money and all of life skills that we have. And yet somehow in all this narrative about midlife crisis, about especially I think women, oh, she's dressing differently, she must be having a crisis. Oh, she's giving up her job, she must be having a midlife crisis. Actually, no. And certainly for me, I know a lot of people have said to me, are you having a midlife crisis? Because I did leave my career last year. Actually, no, I'm not having a midlife crisis. What I'm having is a midlife opportunity, a midlife waking up to the life that I want to now build for me. And when I mentioned earlier about midlife superpowers, this is what I mean. Superpower number 1, you stop caring about nonsense. I don't care about impressing other people anymore. I used to. When I look back now, I realise that probably a lot of my 20s and 30s into my 40s was a bit of a performance. I was acting how I felt other people wanted me to act, what they expected to see from me. I don't care anymore. I don't. And I don't know, it's just I'm tired of other people. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, friends and family, I care what they think of me, of course I do, but I won't let it stop me doing things. And a great example is getting on social media, is making YouTube videos. And by the way, that's now how I do earn my income, is through digital marketing. And had I still had that barrier of, oh, what will people think? I wouldn't be doing it. And I'd still be stuck in my 9-to-5 job. So that's number one. You stop thinking about nonsense, worrying about nonsense, and worrying about what other people think of you. And by the way, what other people think of you is none of your goddamn business. Superpower number 2, which is kind of linked to the first one, but I think in midlife you finally really understand who you are. And again, looking back at my younger years, I think who I was very clouded by those expectations and by other people and taking on board what they wanted. Now I'm in midlife. It's like, well, of course, I'm not going to ignore everybody. What do I want? It's my time. I've given for years to an employer, I've given to my children, I've given to my husband, I've given to my family. And some of those I will, of course, still willingly give. But suddenly I have come into focus, me, myself and I. What do I now want? And actually, I know what I want. I don't have to peel back layers anymore and sit there kind of, oh God, what do I want? I know what I want. It's very clear. I want freedom. I want to be in control of my own destiny. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Superpower number 3. In midlife, you truly, truly begin to understand how precious time is. And that's a real gift, actually. You know, it's not a depressing, oh God, life's so short, I'm going to die soon. It's not that. And I think, you know, for me, certainly, I've recently started to lose people. And, you know, I recently lost my darling dad just a few weeks ago. A couple of years ago, I lost one of my best friends. But it's not all about losing people. That does bring clarity, though, to a lot of things. But I think, you know, I certainly, when I tipped into my 50s, it was kind of, oh God, now there is definitely now less of my life left than I've lived, which is quite sobering. But again, I'm not seeing it as a terrible negative thing. What I'm seeing it as is a very positive strength. That means that I will now only spend my time doing things that add value, whether it's to me or my family. And I'm no longer going to waste my time. And again, when I look back across my life, I probably wasted a lot of time doing stuff that didn't matter. But here we are now, you know, giving up my career last year because I was selling my time. You know, I can't tell you how sobering when, I don't know, it just dawned on me one day that if you're in employment, the contract is your time is being bought. No, it might be being bought for a very good price and I was earning a great salary. But when you think about it, your time is the most precious thing you have and you cannot replenish it. What price do you put on that time? Very sobering, and probably ultimately the thing that has driven me to leave my full-time employment, to carve something out, create something for myself, that is bringing me so much happiness and so much contentment. It's not bringing me in as much money. But somehow the idea of the balance between time and money, it suddenly, in my early 50s, became a balance or an imbalance that I wasn't prepared to pay anymore. very sobering, very important. And superpower number 4 is something about mental strength. Now, let's obviously acknowledge the physical challenges of growing older, of course, and I feel them as much as anybody. The aching joints, the wrinkles, the for me, weight gain and lack of sleep and all of that comes with the menopause. But mentally, I personally have never felt stronger. And again, it goes back to the absolute wealth of knowledge, experience, skills that have been built over 30, 40, 50 years of living. And that for me provides, again, it goes back to that solid foundation upon which I trust myself now more than I ever have when it comes to things like making decisions, like planning my future. I know that I am well informed in life, in what I want. And there's something incredibly empowering about that. It's absolutely wonderful. And I can't express how much of a superpower that one actually is as well. And there are many other amazing things that happen during midlife, but they are my kind of very succinct summary of what I see as now my superpowers as a midlife woman. And I'm now genuinely creating a life that I want. I'm taking control at last after a life, as I say, of supporting others and focusing, just never having time to even sit and think about what I want. Now I have that space and I am really, really creating the life that I want. But I'm so interested, is it just me that feels this way? Am I an outlier? Is everybody else, as you will believe from YouTube, seeing midlife as a complete and utter devastating crisis? I'd love to know. And in all of this, in what feels like my rebirth, I have, of course, also rebirthed the way that I earn income, leaving my career and carving out now an online business or multiple streams of income through online businesses, which I am absolutely loving. And part of what I'm now really passionate about is to help any other midlifers that might want something similar. And, you know, if I say the words digital marketing, you might shiver in your boots and say, what's that? I don't even know what she's talking about. Well, I've set up a brand new community. It only launched last week. It's called the Midlife Momentum Lab. And what I'm desperately passionate about is sharing anything that I can to help other midlifers to follow the same path that I'm doing if that's what they wish to do. So I break down what digital marketing is, how people are actually making money online, what they're doing, what you need, how to get started. And I even go into AI. And if AI is, again, something that frightens the life out of you, then come and join me in the Midlife Momentum Lab, because I've got a full module dedicated to it. And I'm giving out freebies every day around all of this stuff. It's absolutely free. You just have to come across and sign up. Link downstairs in the description. Hope you find it. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I am quite a new channel. As you'll see, I've only got a few videos up and a very small number of subscribers. So if you have enjoyed it and you want to hear more from my adventures, my thoughts about midlife, what I'm doing, etc., then please do consider subscribing. It'd be great to have you along. But for now, I'll see you in the next one.